Alright, what up, guys? Welcome back. It's been a hot minute. Just got back from Orlando. We had the Simpler Trading meetup. Always good to see my Simpler buddies. Always good to see the members. And then had the chance to go to Disney with my hot wife, my sister-in-law, my other sister-in-law, my boy Sam, and then JC and his two kids. So really fun stuff. However, I did get COVID. So I'm still getting over the vid. Maybe a little bit too much hugging and kissing down by the campfire, but well worth it. So for tonight's video, guys, and as far as my swing trading goes, major focus here is going to be the weekly squeeze in the QQQ, and then the weekly squeezes in your big tech names. That's pretty much my only focus. For swing trades, just big tech, and then pretty much everything else I'm doing is just futures trading, with a goal of 1,000 buckaroos per day. So weekly squeeze here for the Qsters. Pretty big reversal candle last week. Really impressive stuff. So now we're at the point where the weekly squeeze potentially has got a little bit of a slingshot going on. What that means is momentum breaks below zero. You get a little chink in the armor as far as structure. 1, 2 weekly closes under that 21 EMA. So in other words, they get to the point where the squeeze is pretty close to breaking short. The bears fail to get the job done, and then bang. Huge push, you're back above that weekly 21, and then in one candle, they pretty much wipe away all that bear's progress. Or all of the bear's progress, at least over the course of those 2 weeks. So here's how I see it. If they can keep price above the weekly 21, so we'll call it 357, 360. I think there's a good chance that the squeeze does slingshot higher, at least for a pushback toward 390-ish. Through that 390, I think you're smooching that 400. So for those of y'all with the big 3 squeeze, a big part of that is going to be momentum. Got a little bit of that negative cross. From here, if they can get that back above zero and keep that back above zero, a little bit like they did back here. Right? Get a little break. Back she goes to positive, and then boom, squeeze fires long. At that point, we should get a weekly buy signal. And at that point, it's game on. So key level here is going to be 358-ish. And for conversation's sake, let's just assume this does take out the highs. Got a couple names for you that I think make for good swing trades. So first up here is going to be Amazon. And this thing's almost cursed. This thing's perfect. All right, big 3 squeeze, A+ setup. It's got a perfect big 3 score of 10. Beautiful weekly squeeze. Even better, you got a squeeze down there on that 3-day time frame. So some good old nested squeeze magic. Brand new weekly buy signal. Big push off that weekly 21. You're closing back above that weekly 200. I think on any pullback here, you're looking for a push towards 150, 152. So we'll jump over to the daily. And your daily chart's in much better standing as well. Big 3 score of 7 out of 10. Fresh momentum cross, daily squeeze just fired long, and you got a brand new daily buy signal. Now here's the quote-unquote issue. Heading into tomorrow for most things, Amazon included, we're a little bit cooked. Right, gap up and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of pretty good pushing. In the short term, this does leave things a little bit overbought. You're $7 above the daily 21. And then even from a lower time frame perspective, price hasn't actually tested the hourly 21 since the gap up back here. So the key tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, how does the market handle a dip? If Amazon pulls back to an hourly 21 and holds structure, if it pulls back to a daily 21 and it holds structure, I think it makes for a good dip buy, especially with the context of that weekly squeeze. So there's a focus for Amazon. So long as that signal prints here on the weekly, looking to buy a dip, and I'm looking for a push towards 150 plus. Next up is Meta. Perfect 10 out of 10. So keep in mind, the last time we had this combo, right, the combo being the indices and the big weekly squeeze, and your leading names in big weekly squeezes, that was back in April, May, June. Right. The last time we had really, really good swing trading, April, May, June. So pay attention. Meta, perfect 10 out of 10. A+ setup, meaning we got the squeeze, the buy signal, and a really good entry. So this shapes Meta up for a push towards 345, 350. You flip over to your daily chart. It's actually not as overbought as an Amazon. So the only thing I'm going to look for here would be a daily buy signal. If we can get a daily buy signal, from there you got the 2-day squeeze, the 3-day squeeze, and that perfect weekly squeeze. To me, the daily buy signal would pretty much be the heads up that things are shaping up here for eventually the bigger squeezes to fire north. So Meta's looking solid, and then Microsoft here. We don't have the buy signal just yet, but if they can cross momentum this week, we should get it. Once we get it, Microsoft should be good for a push towards 370 plus. For now, she's cranking out at 8 out of 10. So daily chart, and yeah, it's a little bit cooked. Had a beautiful daily squeeze, off she goes. First pullback to an hourly or a daily 21. If the structure holds, if the support holds, if the buy signals hold, you snag it. And from there, you're looking for that weekly squeeze to get the job done. And remember, all of this comes down to QQQ. So if QQQ can slingshot that weekly squeeze and head back towards those highs, then these trades, they should work pretty well. If the Q's crap the bed, then they're not going to work. So Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, and then not as clean, but as far as risk-reward goes, Tesla's weekly squeeze is also getting interesting for a long. Right? It's a -1. So again, it's nowhere near the quality of an Amazon, a Meta, or even a Microsoft. What I do like here is kind of that trap, right? Price breaks under the weekly 200, but never closes underneath it. Meaning everybody getting trapped, everybody getting short down here, by the end of the week, they're already trapped. So like we're talking about as far as the Qs go, momentum breaks, structure gets pretty suspect, yet the squeeze doesn't break short. From here, if they can rebuild, better chance that squeeze actually fires to the upside. So I think an interesting idea here is some, March expiration out the money calls, 280, 290, 300, with a stop under that weekly 200. You want to keep it a bit more simple. You could sell some put credit spreads under the weekly 200. Again, not as clean as Amazon. So Amazon and Microsoft, they're going to be the top focus. But I think you get a dip next week, and you still see Tesla holding that weekly 200. Some cheap calls, a couple put credit spreads. Could be an interesting play. And then last two for you guys, going to be Netflix and Google. And for Netflix, same thinking. Weekly squeeze prints. Momentum breaks under 0. Structure gets pretty nasty. Squeeze never breaks short. Right, big reversal off that weekly 50. Price is back above the 21, back above that 200. If they can continue to build from here, and if they can get momentum back above 0, I think you see that squeeze fire along back towards 500. Jumping over to the daily chart for Netflix, and yeah, right, I'm not trying to buy it up here. So give me a pullback, and we'll see what's up. And then the last one here is going to be Google. And again, not to be repetitive, but this all comes down to QQQ. So the top G here, Google, same shit. Squeeze prints, little break of the 21, and then boom. Right back above that 21 she goes. You jump over to your daily chart. Not as good. So scores across the daily chart. Google's a -5. Tesla's a -5. Amazon's a +7. Meta's a +6. And Microsoft is a positive 9, meaning I'm going to focus on those names that grade out better first before I focus on a Google or a Tesla. And then last thing for you guys, these two things kind of go hand in hand. A big part of the weakness as of late in the market's been the strength here in the dollar, the old buckaroo. So any sideways action, better yet, any weakness here in the dollar, typically going to be good for the stocks. So the squeeze prints, momentum broke back in early October. So that's kind of like the first indication things might be coming to an end, and now you're finally getting a break in structure. Right? First comes momentum. From there, if they can't fix momentum, then comes problems in your structure. Under that 21, under the 50. Right? So as long as price is under that daily 50, there might be room here for a push down towards that daily 200, which does sound like a pretty big drop, but keep in mind the squeeze hasn't fired short just yet. So a few things for y'all to watch, and as always, could change tomorrow morning. But what I'm seeing right now across the QQQ, even the S&Ps, but Microsoft's, Amazon's, Tesla's, Meta's, etc., is, I think, the potential for that slingshot squeeze. Momentum breaks lower, structure gets a little bit suspect, everything starts to shape up like the squeeze wants to break short, and then pretty quickly the shorts are trapped and off she goes. So for the QQQ and pretty much all of these names, over the next few days and over the next few weeks, key level is going to be that weekly 21. I'm looking for pullbacks and I'm looking for buy signals across lower time frames, so long as price is above that weekly 21. Alright guys, as always, thank you for watching. Good to be back, and I'll talk to you later. Adios.